All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. My name is Jonathan Lipp, director of the Big Apple Film Festival. I want to thank you all for being here for our Agents and Managers Conference. Just a reminder, Big Apple Film Festival is taking place this week until Friday, until tomorrow, May 27th. In-person screenings up until tonight at the SVA Theater, and all films available virtually until tomorrow. Welcome to our Agents and Managers Conference. For the all access pass holders, just a reminder, please fill out the registration form so that all of your project information can be shared with our speakers. Thank you. This morning we have with us Sharon Parker-Frazier. Hello, Sharon. How you doing?
Hi, good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Thank you. Great to be here.
Right. Thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. And we have our moderator with us, Craig Price. Hello, Craig.
Hello, good morning.
All right, good morning to you. So we'll jump into the questions and we'll get started. Thank you, and I'll pass it over to Craig. Thanks.
Great. Well, it's great to be here, and Sharon, it's really nice to have you here this morning. So
yes,
we're going to go fast and furious. I want to remind folks that we do have questions to be submitted for her. I'll be happy to kick it off though with we're going to start with attaching name talent to your film. What do you have to think about when you try to attach a name to your film? Because I think there's a creative decision, but there's also a financial and, let's be honest, a realistic decision about attaching specific names to your film. So what should you think about when you want to attach a name talent to your film?
Oh, you're asking me that question.
Yes, only you. You're the only person here.
Oh, where's everybody else? I'm the only one here.
You're the only one that's we have people asking questions, but they'll be going through me. I'm like the medium. So
right. Well, yeah. Well, of course, agents have to have relationships with other agencies. So we have to reach out to those agencies to inquire about actors' interest, number one, the interest, and of course, availability. But I think what's key is that they want to know how much packaging do you have with that project, because agents are going to ask one question, are you making an offer, like how much money are you offering my client? So that's why I told filmmakers, I said, before you even try to reach out to talent and get an attachment, you need to make sure that you have all the elements in place, and that includes do you have a producer, an experienced producer? Do you have a director attached? Because sometimes directors are very helpful in getting talent attached, to the script. So again, I think it's just being practical and being realistic on the kind of talent you want to attach. But you got to have everything really much in shape. You really got to make sure everything has the proper elements before you can go out to talent.
Sure. And before we start, I just want to make sure that people know more about you and Crystal Ship Artists. So if you can just briefly introduce yourself and Crystal Ship.
Sure. So I'm a native New Yorker, born and raised on the Upper West Side, went to UCLA, spent some time in California, some bi-coastal. Our agency was started about 10 years ago. Francesca Grimalti and Richard Murphy were former agents from ICM. So they spent their years in training and experiences, with ICM and film and television. And on the music side, I have a background in physical production. I worked on some of the biggest television shows and movies here in New York. Again, physical production support. I learned about the nuts and bolts of making movies and making television. So my contribution and asset to the agency is understanding development, like how do you create a script? How do you get all the moving parts in place, and how do you get it ready for pitching and having your proof of concepts, and so forth. So we represent a large variety of clients. We're very diversified, and we have film, television, digital, streaming, actors, writers, directors, and producers. And we're based here in New York.
Absolutely. And so do you accept unsolicited submissions from writers and such, or do you have a spot on your website for that?
We do. We do have an email. On our site, you can basically, if you want to send your email, you can put your information on our website, and we will get in contact with you.
Okay, well, great. You guys sounds like it's fun. As a past New Yorker, it's great to have a fellow New Yorker here as well. So,
of course.
What do you look for in that presentation, that the packaging? Because I think that is a mystery for a lot of folks, especially if they're not in New York or LA. So that's the great thing about the world we live in now. You can be in Des Moines, Iowa and pitch. So what do you think is the most essential parts to that presentation packaging that a lot of people?
I'll say the lookbook. I mean, it was, it was called the lookbook. Now it's called the pitch to creative deck. I mean, presentation, first impression is everything. And how you put, I mean, we have so many tools now. You have all this multimedia, you have all these different types of software. And so creating a really, strong presence about your vision, because your story, your pitch deck, that's how you're going to introduce who you are as an artist, as a writer, as a creative. So that pitch deck, I think, is a great calling card. Having a solid script, you still need to write a solid script, because script writing is still an important art form, that you definitely can take classes online. There's lots of seminars in good writing. A sizzle reel. A lot of people are using stock footage now. Stock footage was so popular during the pandemic, and stock footage is free. Some of it is not free. Some of it you may have to pay for, but you could put together a nice reel using stock footage, and even using photography, using stills. So you have to be creative in putting together your packaging, and make it stand out, make it stand, make sure it fits with the story. If you're doing a mystery has a different type of tone as opposed to a comedy. Or if you're going to do, a horror, so make sure that the materials that are being used also, lends that tone and that feeling of what you're writing about.
Can you think of a very effective, unique way you've seen some of these pitch decks and presentations or lookbooks? Has there been a few in the past that have really?
I think it's graphics. I think it's their graphics. I think, one, too much graphics. It is sometimes people have so much graphics. You're like trying to it's like we're swimming through all these things. Yeah, I'm trying to find the story. I'm trying to find, so sometimes again, you need to have just enough information to get your idea across. So again, I think how you use your graphics, how you place your placement of your pitch deck. Nobody wants to read 25 slides. That's awful. Don't do that. 25 slides. 5 slides, that may not be enough. Anywhere, I mean, I say starting with 6 to 9, 10. I mean, so again, it's a matter of, making sure that you're utilizing those slides effectively to get the story across. But again, I think graphics is an important aspect of it. And also placement. How do you place the faces on the deck or the characters you're talking about? And also using the right, I think PowerPoint is good. It depends on, what software or what, template you're going to use for your decks.
Great. And Nate Bynum wants to know how you find your clients. Do you find them or do they find you?
Both ways. I scout. I love film festivals. One of the things I was so heartbroken during the pandemic was I wasn't getting to film festivals, because film festivals for me are relevant. They're important. I think that they make a huge contribution to the industry, and they help agencies and managers find, new discoveries. So I love to scout and find social media. Yes, social media now. That's where I'm finding a lot of potential talent, on social media. Not on TikTok. I'm staying away from TikTok. I'm not messing with that. But again, yeah, social media is where I do find LinkedIn. Believe it or not, LinkedIn is where I find most of my potential clients. Yeah, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and LinkedIn has a lot of quick, easy ways to connect. So
exactly. So that's a great way. Yeah.
That's one that's overlooked. I'm a big LinkedIn.
Yes, it is. Yeah, because they're on TikTok, or they're on Snapchat, or they're on YouTube,
So how often, when you get your clients and they're trying to find a name to attach, what kind of suggestions do you give them to? Do you? I mean, obviously you can't shoot for a Brad Pitt, or maybe you can, or a Harrison Ford, but there are certain people that you can get in your market.
Right. Well, just recently I have a writer, it's a new writer. He was, he was a part of a hit web series that, by the way, we sold the web series to NBC. We just sold at the half-hour pilot to NBC. Right. So Congrats. He was one of the actors, on the web series. So he is going out to a top-notch female comedian. So I said to him, I said, okay, reach out to her team, let the team know that you do have an agent. You have an agent, you have someone. And once you make that connection, then we'll step in. So we'll step in and say, yes, we are representing this writer and he has a project that he would like for her to consider. It's another half-hour comedy that he's trying to get her attached to. So sometimes, we tell the client, if you want to reach out, make the introduction, and then we'll step in, on your behalf, because of course they want to hear from an agent eventually to get more information about the project.
So you're the people that my people are supposed to call. Have my people call your people? Is that how that works?
Yeah, you'd be surprised. Yeah. And in this industry is relationships is the biggest asset right now. It has to be your asset. Liabilities, you need to increase your assets and lessen your liabilities. I mean, I think that's what it comes down to in this industry.
Networking and connections from the beginning of time have always been most important, and I think it's also the hardest to maintain. So
yes, it is very hard. Yeah, that's why don't burn your bridges. Be nice to everybody, even the jerk in the room. Be nice to the jerk in the room, because that jerk might be the one you may have to deal with later on. That's life. That's how the industry works.
And so when you work with all these folks, how broad of a Soraya Stowe wants to know, how broad of a portfolio do you want writers to have?
So, I think it's a matter, right? It's building your arsenal. And I feel that if you are creating content and you have a reel, I think that is what's ideal right now. That's why social media is so awesome right now. And the millennials are doing it. The millennials, I love millennials, and millennialism is the movement for me. So what I say is that, yes, you need to build your reel. I think it's building your resume of what you're working on. So if you have like 5-minute shorts, there's long form content, and then there's short form. Short form content is valuable. There is a value in it. So if you can create a collage and a reel of all your short form, like material, even it's like a little quick 1-2 here and there. I think building that visual portfolio, because people want to see something on a reel, and then they want to read something. Have writing samples. Always keep good writing samples. Have a drama sample, have a comedy sample, which is really great. And then have a good spec script. Always have a good spec script, in your arsenal. So yes, and also most important, production portfolio, production. If you've been working on the set, that is an asset. That says that you understand what filmmaking and television making is about, because you worked on the set. So I think it's a combination of having some experience, also building a reel, having a nice reel of what you've done. If you've done multiple web series, fine. Put together your collage of web series that you worked on. That's great.
So proof you know what you're doing, and proof you know the industry.
Yes. That's a good thing. And millennials are learning this industry in a different way, even if they did not go to film school. But because of social media and the new technology and the tools and the apps, they're becoming self-made filmmakers. And that's okay. The ones who do go to school, I mean, no doubt, getting the educational component, there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, I think social media is giving those who don't go to film school a leg up as well.
Yeah, it used to be a big mystery about how it was all done, and now anybody anywhere can learn how to do it. So
exactly, yeah.
So how would you advise, Miriam Russell wants to know how you would advise a screenwriter to suggest, would you advise a screenwriter to suggest an actor for the role, or would you just have them write the script and let the studio help them, or the production company help them find the talent?
Well, I mean, again, it's almost like a choreographer. I used to be a dancer. I started out as a dancer, when I was studying at UCLA and a minor in theater. What's interesting, I think about the reason I'm making the analogy of the choreography is that, when a choreographer, comes up with an idea, sometimes it's the music. So, you know what? I love this song. This song for me is just it. I got to do something with this song. So sometimes, they get inspired by a song or a poem. Something comes to them that makes them creative. So at the screenplay, I think sometimes having an actor in mind, I've had a lot of screenwriters say, you know what? I wrote this specifically for, for Kevin Hart, or I wrote this, for, who's another actor? Let's say, I'm thinking of somebody right now.
Nicolas Cage. They wrote that.
Yeah, right. So they wrote something. So there's nothing. It's just that even if you cannot get you may not be able to get Nicolas Cage, but then it's like, okay, so then who's he's the inspiration, because as an actor, you just like who he is and his stuff. So what happens is that now you have to say, okay, well, if I can't get Nicolas Cage, who can I get in place? But the fact is that you were inspired by that actor. And I think that's fine, because you know what, that's going to drive you to write that story that, it's because of Nicolas Cage, you know what I'm saying, in terms of that, if I was a writer, I would have loved to have written for, I forgot this actress's name. Oh my gosh, she was a wonderful actress. I'm going back to the old Hollywood. But anyway, inspiration from actors, I think is great for writers. I think it really is. And like I said, then you have a wish list.
Yeah.
That's all.
There's always that, I'm looking for a Liam Neeson type.
Yeah. Because that's the
type.
visual. Right, exactly. I agree. Beautiful.
So how often do you communicate with your clients? Are you
Lord have mercy. Well, first of all, I'm a soccer mom. Yes, I'm a soccer mom. My daughter plays, club soccer. So I have to fit my soccer schedule into her. So what happens is that, I try to take monthlies. So the clients right now who have deals. So you're in a deal. We have something at the finish line. We have something going on. I do my monthly check-ins with them because, we got to finish the deal, close it up, and get everything and get into the next step. So I try to do monthlies. I cannot do weeklies. What I try to do is check-ins. So I do email a lot. People. I text people. So I do communicate emailing and texting. If it's urgent and you need to speak with me, then we'll talk on the phone. I'm not going to do emailing and texting, because now this is something that is a matter of talking on the phone. Or if I can meet you, then we'll try to meet up somewhere. Our offices right now are virtual because of the pandemic. So we're hoping to go back to our offices in the fall. So we're going back in the fall. In the meantime, we're working, from home virtually, but at the same time, I try to make myself accessible. That's what it comes down to. And I believe in turnaround. If somebody reaches out to me, I give myself a turnaround time to get back to them. That's the discipline. I don't like to leave people, unanswered. That's not cool, because I wouldn't want anybody to do that to me.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've got two questions that kind of fit together. Kennedy Sabelko is a Black writer, and he is concerned, is there systematic racism in the industry? Should I not disclose my ethnicity? And I also have someone who just said, should they not disclose their age? So we're talking about bias. Is there?
Yeah. I know that's a slippery slope. I will say that my other secret passion is I'm an activist. I'm an activist. PTA mom, community board. So I'm very involved and making sure that the playing field is being leveled here. So the question is that, yes, I think now this is not even a better time to disclose your race, because everyone now everybody wants to check the box that, yes, that I support Black Lives Matter. So people are checking the boxes and they want to say that I want to participate and be part of the solution. So people are trying to be part of the solution. Some people very stubborn. There is resistance, the establishment, the people who want to keep things the old way. But I think people are becoming more open now. So I think ageism and racism does exist, but I think that we're dealing with it now. We're confronting it. And I think that's what's more important in the long run. So yeah, I think that there's nothing wrong with, disclosing, your age and so forth and so forth.
Yeah, the more perspectives, the better. So
yeah.
That's a great segue to our other topic, which is about the future of film and TV production and distribution. What do you see as the biggest change coming down the road?
Yeah, I'll just say digital, streaming. Because right now we are working with Tubi, we're working with Amazon Freevee, right? Freevee, that's the new, And what's happening is that we're talking licensing. The licensing and acquisition is getting bigger and bigger. So because people need libraries, they need to stock up. Everyone because people, they're running out of content. They're running out of content. There isn't enough. So I think that the streaming world will still have a huge, huge advantage going in. I mean, they really do. And even the network watch, right? You can watch it on Channel 4, then you can watch it on Peacock. Hey, you can watch it on ABC Signature, then you can watch it on Hulu. So, I mean, it's amazing how you're having this hybrid now of distribution. So, yeah, I think digital is going to, and also global. You got to think global access, because that's why Netflix was winning, because they had content that was being available all over the world to watch their content. And that's important as well. Globalization of content is the key along with streaming.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right now, it's the Wild West in streaming, and everyone's heading that way. Now, while it's great that there's so many options, there's also situations like CISO and Quibi, and there's all these companies that came up and they're gone. So how do you decide, when a streaming company is interested? I mean, obviously Netflix is going to be here for a while, even if they have some problems. I mean, they're right. And Amazon's going to be here for the long term. But when you have something that you may not be 100% familiar with or is new, how do you approach new streaming services that are just open?
So we are working with a new streaming company now. Exciting. Oh my God, they're launching coming up in July. And so we did ask about, what was their creative approach, and also business, where's the money? How are you going to pay, your content? So obviously, they have a blueprint, they disclosed, a lot of information that was very helpful. And the main thing was investors. I mean, I think it's a matter of everyone right now is getting into the investors equity industry. If you notice that some of the biggest production houses and stuff are they're getting investors, and they're getting, access to capital. So what happens that you have to look at which model are they doing, because the so-called rev share, we all heard that term rev share a lot. And sometimes rev share doesn't pay. It doesn't really pay as much as it's supposed to. So you got to make sure that they're offering a model, because you need subscription and you need advertising. You need both. That's why cable TV has survived. Cable television has survived because they use the model of subscription model, and they use ad. They do, so finding a streaming, these new streaming channels, again, they have to bring that business model that will bring growth, because it is about growth of your subscription, as well as because if you have growth, if that model works, you're going to get growth, and then you can pay your producers and your production companies, decent, equitable, terms of money.
Absolutely. And Rodolfo is asking, how difficult is pitching a project based in Latin America, spoken in English, with international appeal to managers and agents? So how difficult is it to bring something from outside the US in English to pitch?
Well, first of all, millennials under 30, that is the most untapped audience in terms of our Latin America population. I mean, it's ignored. They're just ignored, and it's really, really sad. But the fact is that you're bringing a Latin cultural story into English. There's a market. I mean, there's a show right now that Macro, Charles King, called it's a show on Netflix that deals with the Los Angeles community and Gentrify. It's called Gentrify. And that show, which I know it came out of the LA, but that show, from what I understand, has been doing quite well. So the market is there. If it's English speaking, there is a market. There's definitely a market. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So like I said, that's an ignored population, and it's a crime to me. It's really sad.
Well, yeah, an untapped market, absolutely. There's a lot of money to be made there, and a lot of representation. So, right. Adrian Lopez wants to know: do you represent film directors and documentary filmmakers, or only writers and actors? So,
no! Oh my God, documentaries! I love Documentaries. Documentaries is just like, I saw Summer of what was it called? Summer of Soul.
Oh yeah.
Questlove's, yeah, they won the
Summer of Soul.
Oscar for the
Oscar, yeah.
Yeah. So I love documentaries. Oh no, absolutely. Yes, we represent documentary. Matter of fact, we're working with writer, author, and one of the Real World originals, Kevin Powell. He was one of the original, members of the Real World. Wonderful author who's created a huge, beautiful documentary. So we're working with him. So yes, I love documentaries. They're entertaining, they're educational. Again, we represent writers, directors, producers, actors. Yes, we represent the whole. We're a full service licensed union agency. We have our WGA, we have our DGA, we got our PGA, we got our AFSTRA and SAG, we got all our unions. We're covered.
So we'll go back a little bit to when we were pitching. When we were pitching, how do you pitch a documentary versus a fictional script? So you have, there's different things you need.
Yeah. Well, documentary pitching, to me, again, every pitch, whether it's scripted or unscripted, it is storytelling. You have to be a good storyteller, because I've gone into rooms with clients and I just keep my face. We try to, believe me, we prep people. We make sure people are prepared going in. We make sure that, and I tell them, look in the mirror and just practice. So good pitching in terms of for a documentary and unscripted, especially because unscripted TV is huge with reality TV.
True
Again,
crime.
you have to be able to have the hook. So what's the hook? Like, what is the, what is it that's going to have an audience, be drawn in? It is about the topic. What is your topic? What is the subject matter? Who's the narrator? There was a beautiful James Baldwin documentary that Samuel L. Jackson was the voiceover for. Can you imagine saying, I want to do this documentary about James Baldwin? I forgot. Oh yeah, I'm Not Your Negro. I think it was the documentary, very powerful. And Samuel L. Jackson was the VO. So yeah, you have to be able to be compelling. Documentaries have to be compelling storytelling. You got to pitch it in that way.
Charlie Masson is asking, how frequently do you pick up independent scripts projects from student filmmakers? Do you even go through student filmmakers from these film festivals and competitions that you go to, or do you just keep an eye on them and foster them along a little bit?
Yeah, I try to, I guess, mentor, right? We do try to mentor, young filmmakers. What I do is I do try to recommend, I steer them to organizations. There's a lot of organizations that are free organizations that they can become a part of, and they can begin to continue to work their craft. What I also try to do is I try to get their resumes to production companies. Say, hey, here's a new filmmaker who's looking to start their career, and I see, can they be hired on their production, like to work on their production, to be with their production company and to send out. Because right now we're working with multiple production companies in Atlanta. We are repping so many new production houses in Atlanta right now. It's crazy. And then of course we have a couple in Brooklyn here in New York. But yeah, we just look at resumes, we make recommendations for them, and we nurture them. But like I said, I try to steer them, to help them, to try to get a leg up.
Well, Grant Stewart's got a really good question about these pitch meetings when you're in. So in addition to the written materials in the pitch decks, if a writer got a meeting with you, what questions do you ask that we should be prepared to answer? So this is more of a, what's it like to be in the meeting versus what materials should you have? So what kind of things should we prepare ourselves to ask and answer?
Well, the question will be, do you have a writing credit? Like, do you have a writing credit, whether it's the web series, you wrote a play? I just want to know, do you have any experience in terms of, like getting published? Have you gotten published where someone has picked up your project? You have a writing credit. Do you have a writing credit? What kind of writing do you like? What kind of writer are you? What is your strengths as a writer? What are you comfortable writing about? You know what I mean, in terms of that. Also, I think it's a matter of, are you flexible? Are you able to write, can you write episodic television? Can you write screenplays? So where's the flexibility? You know what I mean, in terms of that, and what kind of writer are you? just like to find out, like I think the key is that what is your end game? I want to be a staff writer. Oh, I want to write independent films. I want to be a part of I want to be a showrunner. And that's what we're working on right now. We're trying to get more and more showrunners. We're trying to build out our showrunners at our agency. So that's what's huge right now for us too, the showrunners, because that's a big market too.
Yeah, and that's a skill set that not everybody has, which is why it's so valuable. Michael Johnson wants to know a little bit about you. So what genres do you enjoy reading? And what kind of shows do you like to watch?
Oh, Lord have mercy, y'all. Y'all are digging deep. Well, believe it or not, like I said, I am a reality TV junkie. I'm sorry. I was a fan, I watched about maybe 5 seasons, believe it or not, of the Kardashians. And everyone said to me, like, how do you watch that show? Why do you like that show? I said, it's anthropology. Anthropology, yeah. You're just studying human behavior. You're looking at all these people. It was about family. I was more interested in how they interacted. I mean, I know they lived lives. They were always, beautiful and all that. But I was just looking at the dynamics of their relationships, and especially Kris Jenner. So anyway, reality show TV, is my sweet spot. The Housewives. I love the Housewives franchises. You know what I mean? I'm big on that. I love Atlanta. Donald Glover. I mean, Atlanta, I thought was brilliant. He's doing a lot of great things on that show. And Channel 13. Every now and then I turn to Channel 13. And I love, PBS. I mean, there's a lot of good programming on there. I don't watch network television I don't watch network TV that much, except for the news, maybe. I don't watch Netflix. I'm not a big Netflix fan, believe it or not. I don't watch a lot of Netflix or any of that stuff. I did see Bel-Air. My teenage daughter, we started binging on Bel-Air on Peacock, which I thought was very interesting. It was an interesting, dynamic on what they did with that show. So
the hard-hitting Prince of Bel-Air is Bel-Air.
Yeah. In terms of reading, I finished reading Michelle Obama's Becoming Michelle.
That's very good.
Yeah, so that was the last book I read, about our former first lady who's deeply missed. Yes.
Well, Florence has a question about the future by incorporating the past. She goes, these days, is it harder to sell a period piece, 1940s, say, to a streamer? And what about a limited series based on actual events? So a period is it more difficult now, or is it?
Well, I mean, it's cable television, cable TV, I think that's been the wheelhouse. I've seen more cable television tackle, network TV hasn't done too much in that area. Streaming, yes, it is difficult. I will say, because of the budgets involved in terms of, but I think what you can do is that, I tell people all the time, start with a short, make a short film. If you make a short film and you get the right attachments, like a producer or a director or, a production company, then you can possibly, grow it, into a movie or into a series. But all I can say is, like, try to do a short first, or try to do like something small, you know what I mean? And put it in a film festival. Because I love film festivals.
Well, which film festivals do you, besides obviously the Big Apple Film Festival, which film festivals do you keep your eyes on?
Well, the ones in New York, I'm a native New Yorker, so I love the Tribeca. There's New York. There's the Web. There was like a web film festival. I think so. The Webby Fest. There was also a New York Television Film Festival. Terrence Gray. Terrence Gray was the founder of that festival. Of course, there's the LA Film Festival. Yes, but I do like smaller festivals, because you find gems. You just find these hidden gems. Because I hate to say it, I think the bigger film festivals, I think sometimes they're who gets in. I mean, it's a very difficult pathway because of the panels and the committees who sit and they pick and choose, who they want. So I know sometimes filmmakers get so discouraged. Oh, I tried this festival, I tried that festival, but I tell them, don't give up, because festivals are important. They're very important.
So since you're looking for showrunners, do you take on creative showrunner teams like the Duffer Brothers, who do like Stranger Things? Would you, do you guys do teams? Is that something you would look into?
Well, we're seeking showrunners, who, we're definitely, I mean, right now we're grooming upcoming showrunners. I mean, we have showrunners, but we have people right now that we're grooming to be showrunners, but we're always looking for, bona fide, more experienced showrunners. Absolutely. Always looking.
But you're looking,
Absolutely.
You're not opposed to teams, two people working together.
Oh yeah. Well, that's, and that's a good thing. I think that is a good idea. Absolutely.
Nadine Mann is wondering what types of scripts are more in demand. Comedies, dramas, obviously period pieces are not, because we just talked about the budget.
I think dramedies. I think the dramedy, I think comedy and drama right now, that intersection, that cross-pollination is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And especially when you're looking at like, I guess what you call it. Okay, there's multicam comedies, there's the multicam, and then dramedies are more single cam. And I think people like the fact is that, again, it's a single cam that's easier. It's a little bit easier. So people like that instead. Yeah. So dramedies I think are on the rise. And I think the streamers are doing a lot in that dramedy world. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I agree with you. So can you talk a little, Andy Winstead wants you to talk a little bit about representing actors. Do you target them for TV and film? Do you submit the posts?
Wait. Hang on just a second. Hang.
No problem. I think she just got a major call from a major studio telling her to shut this down. You're giving away too many secrets. But I do want to remind folks that I am taking some questions. We only have a couple minutes left. If you have any festival questions, I am not the person to ask, unfortunately. I am just doing the content. So if there's situations with videos not coming through emails, make sure you contact the film festival directly. Did we sign a deal?
Hey, I'm back. I'm sorry.
Did we sign a deal while you were gone?
No. I had to know. It was someone who had needed access.
No, that's okay.
Access them. So you asked me about actors. You said actors?
Sure. Andy Winstead, he wants to know about when you represent actors, do you target them for TV and film, and do you submit for both coast or?
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. So we represent actors for TV, film, and theater. I must say that we do have a theater department. We have a wonderful agent who has a great relationship with Broadway, off-Broadway. So we have the full service, and we do breakdowns. But let me tell you something about breakdowns, because breakdowns is where, agencies, we go out to get, access to what's casting. And what it comes down to is that breakdowns, for me, from what I've been noticing, they're only giving you, like, let's say, I'll say 75% of those roles have been casted, 75%. So the 25% that's there, well, 25%, because a lot of roles get casted. By the time it gets to breakdown, it's been casted. I hate to say it, you know what I mean? So, but we do send people out for the TV and film world. The thing is booking. You have to make sure that, you have, good headshots, of course, your headshots. Make sure they look like who you are. If you got a beard, then make sure the picture of you has a beard. If you shave the beard off, then make sure you get the new pictures with no more beard. You have to be consistent. And that's what it comes down to, is being consistent with your audition. Self-taping, everything's been self-taped because of that pandemic. Make sure you know how to self-tape properly, because the casting agent will say to us, okay, tell them to send their tape. We'll look at their tape. Make sure you're not the lighting, where you're doing the monologue. So it's just a lot of best practices that actors have to take care of.
And now with iPhones and things, their cameras are so good that you can actually film quality. So you don't have to worry about the old VHS looking.
Right, exactly. Right. VHS, Lord of Earth, Beta. Right.
And I do want to clarify the question, because there is no longer, and at least I don't see it, but so you can tell me, there's no more TV actors and movie actors or movie actors. It's really nowadays anybody for anything.
It's blurred. Yeah. The lines are blurring. So much. I agree. Yeah, that's true.
David Wilson wants to know if you represent off-Broadway. You do theatrical. Do you represent producers for off-Broadway and Broadway?
That's interesting. Yeah, because like right now on the acting side, yes, we're doing it on the acting side, but wow, Broadway, but producers, that's interesting. I'm sure that, our department, the theater department, I'm sure that PK would be open to that. Yeah, I could say that it's a good question. And I do think it is a good time because Broadway is thriving. The Broadway theater world has opened up again. So yes, yeah, I would be interested. Because remember, my part of the agency, I'm one of the founding partners. I'm a vice president, but I'm the head of content. So I deal with all literary and content. So that's my area. So in terms of as a producer from the theater side, yeah, I can definitely, look at a play, if there's a play that you have or something of that nature. And then I would talk to PK because on the theater side, she would know what the mandates are on Broadway. Just like in TV and film, there's mandates on Broadway too.
Sure. We got, now we've talked about this on different chats before, but what are the odds if you are invited to a live reading in Manhattan or in New York, you're going to go? Because I know you're very busy. Is being solicited for a live reading of someone's work worth?
Yeah, I've been invited. I know last year I had 2 Zoom invites, because people were doing a lot of their live readings on Zoom. So I have gotten Zoom invites, to listen to new material, like a new half-hour comedy or a screenplay reading. So yeah, I've been invited. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the only issue with that is you're putting a lot of faith in the actors and the directors into interpreting your writing. So
exactly, yeah, exactly. But at the end of the day, I think I want everyone to come away with the following. You are in control of your career. You have to be in control of your career. You have to do your research. Do your research. I think it's so important, especially if you want to if you're looking to pitch to a particular television network or to a streamer, or there's a particular, TV channel, learn as much as you can about that particular television show or that production company. I just say do your research and have your information. And also, make projects. I think you should just try to do something, be proactive, create a reel, don't wait around, waiting on somebody. I think you should just be proactive. And social media right now is literally a platform but it's how you use it. You have to use it to be very clever, very savvy, and use it effectively. And again, I just say go and create and make a reel. I just say make a nice reel, post it on your site. You know what I say? Create a movement. Hashtag, like right now on LinkedIn, my hashtag is hashtag boss power.
Boss power.
So whenever I see accolades, like when somebody has made, when someone announces they did something with their career, or they did, I say, hey, that's a boss power 2022, because you have to be your own boss. You got to boss up and be your own boss. That's what it comes down to right now. And also surround yourself with the right people. Make sure you have a good team behind you, a good team. That's key.
That's very important, and also very difficult to find those right people, because you got to.
Oh yeah, good help is hard to find. I know.
But you want to make your own path is the key on that one. I'm going to do my last question for you, and it's from Grant Stewart. And I have an idea where you're going to go with this, but I think it's very relevant to how you opened up the interview here. For a TV series, do you like the idea of a family dramedy with political themes and an activist tone? Or are politics and social issues already too much? So is putting a political theme in your work, is it being too much? Are you afraid to be caught up in the woke crowd, which is
no.
You got something to say?
Look at SNL. What are they doing? What is SNL doing? Saturday Night Live. Literally, they are the platform. It's an ensemble. It's not a family. It's more of an ensemble. It's late night, sketch comedy, but it is infused with political, ramifications. And they've been on TV almost 50 years.
Mm-hmm. And Blackish
Yeah.
had a lot of great themes and activism.
Absolutely, absolutely. And going back to All of the Family, remember Meathead? Meathead used to call Archie, used to call, you know,
Yeah.
you meathead, you meathead.
And
I mean, you know, so it goes way, it goes even that far back, right? Mhm.
and Meathead turned out to be one of the best directors we've had. So
Yeah, Bob Reiner.
Reiner.
He's definitely a very cool person. Yeah, I mean, and you know, he's on fire. He's a political fire machine himself.
Yep.
Absolutely, yeah. So yes,
and
of course.
before I
There's
let you
always
go,
room.
yeah, of course. Before I let you go, though, Debbie, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the Sharon. Can you provide contact email for submissions? So where can we, the website? Do we do the directly to you?
Well, okay, we can start. Okay, okay, so it's Crystal Ship, right? Crystal Ship. Okay, hang on a second. I'm trying to figure out. I'm losing. Okay, so it should be Crystal Ship NYC at Gmail.
All
Crystal
right.
Ship NYC, right? Because we're in New York City. Crystal Ship NYC at gmail.com. Yeah.
Great. And again, so you accept unsolicited submissions, and we'll go through the proper channels when you get it.
Yeah. You know, all we could do is just look at your material. And, you know, the thing is that, I mean, if we're interested in going forward, then you sign a release. A release just says that you're giving us permission to, to start, just looking at your project and so forth. Mhm.
And before they inundate you with scripts, and you're going to get access to everybody's email who's here today as well. But how do you like to see their very first email? What do you want to see? Do you want to see just a log line? Do you want to see a log line?
Yeah, log line. Yeah. I do agree. To introduce yourself, also your production resume. I'm really looking for, candidates who have some production background. I mean, not to say that I was a banker and I hated banking, so I decided to be a screenwriter because that happens. I know, I used to be, a professor, and now I hate my job and I want to move into directing. I mean, I just feel that people who want to get an entry into the industry, I say, get some experience first. Get some kind of experience first. That's all I ask for. But a resume, your log line, if you have a reel, yes, please send your little sizzle reel and something that I can look at. And also, if you have a network, say, hey, I have a network, I have attachments, you know what I mean? That's also great. Wonderful.
Well, Sharon, we really appreciate your energy. Everybody's super excited about how.
Yeah, because I'm a Capricorn woman.
But thank you so much for your time and your insights. We really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you, Sharon. Really appreciate you being here. Again, just a reminder for all the Access Pass holders, fill out your registration forms. We can share all your project info with our speakers. Festival goes till tomorrow. Thank you so much, Sharon. Really appreciate you being here. And in 10 minutes,
thank you. I learned a lot too. And thank you for these questions. They were very challenging, and very purposeful. And again, I hope I can, give some type of meaning and purpose, because people think agents are bad people. They just want your money. No. We want to nurture you. And I'm a curator. I curate and develop everyone's content properly. And I try to give them the right way and give them, thinking ways of making their project better. That's all I can do.
That's wonderful. Yeah, we really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
In 10 minutes, we'll also be speaking with Roy Ashton from the Gersh Agency. That begins in 10 minutes for anyone who wants to join. And Sharon, thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Craig, for moderating. We'll see you all soon.
Okay. And happy Memorial Day. Happy Memorial Day, everybody.
Happy Memorial Day. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.